So, this is to the part of what happened after my adoption papers were signed. So, my papers were signed by me and Mama, Aunt Marie, and that evening we went out to dinner and went to a Mexican restaurant that was on the other side of the freeway there in San Ysidro. And her and I did a toast together, and we took our glass. I had Dr. Pepper, she let me order, and she had iced tea, and we did a toast and clicked our glasses together. And that was our celebration of the adoption papers being filled out. And Tony was like, well, don't I get a part of that? And Uncle Bud said to Tony, well, they have their own little secret going on, because Uncle Bud had known about it, and Tony didn't. So after the papers were signed, and they went a couple of days later to Victorville, and she had Ollie signed the papers for him to be listed father on my adoption records. And then they got turned in. She went to the attorney, turned the papers in, and then a court date was set. And so after when the court happened, the judge had called me and asked me a series of questions, like, why do you want her to adopt you? And I had to give a reason. I said, like, she was nurturing, she loved me, that type of thing. She taught me stuff. And whatever else I said, I don't remember all of it that I had said. And so during the course of that conversation with the judge, he had called me, and she had an attorney stand in my place. I mentioned all of that in my adoption videos. And I had said, is you still in court? Well, yeah, they were still in court. And I had said to the judge, I said, tell her I love her, and I'll see her when she comes back. And I had heard her in the background laughing and saying, tell her I love her too. So after it was official and they came back, during the course, before they came back, I had made a birth certificate for her, because a birth certificate was not going to be done since I was an adult. And so I made her one, and I gave that to her. Well, we went out to dinner that night again, and to the Mexican restaurant that we liked. And she did a group toast. Again, Tony didn't know what was going on. She wanted to toast, and we toasted, and she winked at me when she clicked her glass with me. Well, after that day, and I spent, they were at the motel with us for a few days. She wanted to take me with her for a few days after that, to bond with me. And her and I were already bonded together, but this was going to be different. She wanted to spend quality time with me, being her daughter, not as her niece. So I went with her and Uncle Bud for approximately 3 or 4 days, and everything was kosher at the motel. And we went into, she had asked me like what I want to do and stuff, and they took me into San Diego. We went to I think it's called Portugal. It's down there, downtown San Diego. And looked around like shops, and just looked around, and there was a carousel in the center there at the time period. I don't know if it's still there. I have not been back to that location since 1986. And I went on the carousel. Uncle Bud took some pictures, and I'm waving as I go by. It went around a few times, then I got off. And I like cotton candy, and she let me get cotton candy. Eating that, and we went out to supper during those days. I got to stay up late with them at the Thousand Trails in Pio Pico and watch them go square dancing, and Uncle Bud being a square dance caller. It was an enjoyable time, an enjoyable moment. Her and I spent, a lot of quality time like that. They played miniature golf with me during the daytime. She took me swimming there. And her and I just talked and bonded as mother and daughter. And at the end of those days, they were real special. I didn't get in trouble for anything while I was there. She said my prayers with me because she always did that with me every night. And it was just fun. And on the last day when they brought me back to the motel, or before they brought me back to the hotel, she had told me that now everything changes. And I didn't understand what that meant, and she said it's going to be different now. The relationship will be different, and I will not be her niece, but she had told me that I needed to call her Aunt Marie in front of everybody. I couldn't call her my special name for her, which is Mawma. That's the name that I chose for her. And I chose that name the day that I signed papers with her in the apartment. And after I had signed those papers, I had went to the bathroom, and I was in there, and I just started kind of crying. And I didn't know what to call her anymore, and I chose Mawma. So when I came out of the bathroom, she looked at me and asked me what was wrong, and I said there was nothing wrong. And she said, there's something wrong with you, come here. And I went to her, and she sat me on her lap, put her arms around me, and said, something's bothering you. I know something's bothering you, and why are you crying? And I told her that, nothing was wrong, and she said that if you're having second thoughts, we'll forget all of this right now. I'll tear these papers up, and we'll forget about it, and we'll just have the relationship with each other that we agreed upon, because she thought that I had changed my mind about being adopted, and I did not. I told her that I don't know what to call you. What do I call you now? You're going to be my mother. You're not going to be my aunt. And she had said, you're used to calling me Aunt Marie, so you continue calling me that, because that's what you've known to call me up to this point. And I said to her, I have a name picked out for you, what I want to call you. And she said, what is that? Tell me. And I said, Mawma. I want to call you Mawma. So I agreed with her to call her Aunt Marie in front of the family. And whenever I felt the need to call her Mawma, I could, anytime I wanted to, when it was just her and I. And I did so. I have mentioned in previous videos that she never forced me or made me call her anything. It like Mama or Mom or something like that. It was my choice when I felt the need to do so. And so around the family, I generally didn't say Mama to her. There were times that I did accidentally when I was upset about something or I didn't feel good. When I started my period, this one particular time when we were in Anaheim, and I went to her and I put my arms around her and I was in a lot of pain, and I said, Mama, Mama, it hurts, stuff like that. And Aunt Sharon said, Marie, did we just hear Teresa call you Mama? And she said, yes, she calls, that's what she calls me when she's upset. And she's whispering into my ear because my head's towards her shoulder. And she whispers to me and she goes, you need to watch what you say in front of them, meaning Aunt Rose and Aunt Sharon, predominantly Aunt Sharon. Aunt Rose knew I was adopted. And just like Uncle Tom, Uncle Wayne, and Uncle Bill knew I was adopted. Ollie, of course, knew I was adopted. Grandma knew I was adopted. I had suspected that they all knew because there was a handful of times that Aunt Rose referred to Aunt Marie as my mother to me openly. Aunt Rose didn't care. I mean, she cared, but she just, would openly say it at certain time periods. And sometimes Ollie would refer to her as Mama, or, you need to talk to your mother. I've mentioned in previous videos that in 1991, at Grandma Waltman's funeral, when Aunt Marie introduced me to Aunt Omatine, and she presented me to Aunt Omatine as her adopted daughter that I told you about. This is Teresa, my adopted daughter that I had told you about. Aunt Omatine, we're up by the Grandma's casket, and she looked at me and she goes, oh my, she goes, aren't you a cute one? And she looked at Aunt Marie and she goes, you're right, she could pass for your biological daughter. And I looked up at her, and I looked at Omatine, and I looked at Aunt Marie again, and I said, I didn't know that you ever told anybody else. And she said, yes. She goes, I told Aunt Omatine all about you. She knows. And I said, who else knows? And she said, everybody. And I said, like who? Do my uncles know? And she said, and she smiled, and she said, yes. I said, when did you tell them? And she said, when it happened, when it was all over. And I had, like I said, I always suspected that. And at Dad's funeral, the day we buried him, Nana, Rose's mother, had confrontation with me regarding my outfit and Aunt Marie's outfit because they were similar. And Nana had given mention about that, oh, you have mother and daughter outfits. Well, hers was different. They were both black skirts. They were both gray silver jackets, but Aunt Marie's was different than mine, and just looked different. And Nana looked at me and you go, you always act like she's your mother. And I go, that's because she is. And she is my mother. And Nana goes, well, yeah, and what do you think Lynn would think about that? And I'm like, I really don't care. And Aunt Marie looked at me and she goes, what did I tell you? And I said, who cares? Who cares about who knows the truth now? We're burying Dad. We're burying Dad today. He's up there in that casket. I turned around and I looked towards the casket and I said, we're burying Dad today. Who cares who knows the truth now? And she looked at me and she goes, I do. And she was standing there holding my hand. Well, Uncle Tom was right behind her, and he turned around because I was kind of loud. And I think, just really didn't care. And I looked at Uncle Tom. I said, you know. I said, don't you? I said, all of you know. All of you've always known. I said, you know the truth. Just say it. And Uncle Tom goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what truth you think that we're supposed to say. He goes, but you're kind of loud and you need to, calm yourself down. And after that conversation, Nana said a few more things. She was sitting actually next to Uncle Bud. They had a conversation, and that's when Uncle Bud told Nana that he was going to dissolve the relationship between me and Aunt Marie because we were too close and he didn't like it. I don't know whatever provoked that, actually. And then her and I went to the bathroom and we had a talk, and told me that I just need to behave and calm down, and she promised to talk to me about what I needed to talk to her about afterwards. But yeah, I mean, everything went really good, and during those days that I spent with her of bonding, and I got to be, I mean, I was really close to her anyway, and I'm not sure on how much closer I could have been, because I was super close to her. And but she just wanted to share time with me, special time, time that as me being her daughter, not being her niece. And she had never looked at me as being her niece prior to this anyway. And she always treated me as her daughter to begin with from day one when I was 19. So when I had said that I never had a niece-aunt relationship with her, I never did. It was always mother and daughter. And then, she just decided to make it legal upon my request. And she honored that for me. So after those days spent together, and because she had told me before we went to the motel that now it changes, now it's going to be different, now the training begins. And at the motel the first day back, everything was okay, and we enjoyed each other and talked and just spent time together in my apartment. And of course I had to go back to work as a manager. And the next day after that, yeah, it changed. She had told me that she would be very strict with me. And what she said, she meant. If she told me to do something, to do it. If she told me not to do anything, not to do it. She went over everything else with me again, as far as don't disobey her, don't lie to her, be honest with her, and that type of thing, on how the raising would be. And she stuck to it. I've always been very grateful for what she did for me, granting my request to be her daughter. And the struggles with her death goes in and out now. I'm not like how I was a couple years ago when I became depressed over her death. It does still bother me. And not so much that she's passed away, it just bothers me that, I could never see her again past 1991. And so I struggle with that. And other things. And last night when I was cooking, my chair, I have a recliner chair. It was turned and it's facing towards my kitchen. I didn't move it. And so I took a picture of it, and it looks like somebody was sitting right there. And I turned it now. I mean, I had turned it afterwards, after I took the pictures. And just before I did that, I just stood there and looked at the chair and said, "Oh, Mama, you can watch me if you want to." I wondered when somebody would show up in my new place. And about a month ago, I had called out to her and told her to come. I wanted her, I needed her, and I had heard footsteps in my bedroom. And you could I don't know how you could hear footsteps on a carpet, but I could hear somebody like walking on my carpet into my bedroom, approaching the foot of my bed. and you could just feel this presence. And it didn't scare me or anything like that, but I believe it was her. I have all their pictures up now, not on the walls, just on shelves. The ones that I brought to the family reunion up in Washington when I did my candle dedication memorial service for them. And eventually I'll get pictures for my wall. So I just wanted to get that out of my head about that special time after the adoption papers were signed and turned in, and everything was official, and how she took me for a few days and spent quality time, and all the time that I did see her was quality time. I don't no conversation really sticks out to me regarding any of that. Just the memory of it is inside my head, and it was a special time. Those few days, I mean, all of it was special every single time I saw her, but those 4 days especially were. um it's like she just wanted to do whatever she could for me, and brush my hair for me, and which she would do anyway at the motel. She'd tell me after I got ready for bed to go get my hairbrush and bring it to her. But she was just exceptionally warm, loving, like extra super nice. She didn't like raise her voice to me or anything like that. I watched TV with her and Uncle Bud in their bedroom. I laid on the bed with her, in front of her, and they were eating some type of snack. I don't remember what it was, and I was only allowed to have a couple of pieces out of it, whatever it was. I don't remember, from some jar, some container, and I don't know. They were watching. I don't even remember what, but I ended up falling asleep, and Uncle Bud had told her I'd fallen asleep, and she got up, and I felt her get up. I had my eyes closed still, and went and made my bed, and got my bed in the living room ready, and then came in and sat next to me, and rubbed my shoulder and stroked my hair, and went like this to my face, and called me, and she would always call me darling. Unless she was mad at me. Then she'd call me by my name, my, Teresa Marie Waltman. If she was extremely, really mad at me, she put Vera into it, and would say Teresa Vera Marie Waltman. And she'd only do that a couple of times. She called me by my name that she had given me. And she had given me her name, Vera, on those papers. There's a strong history with the Waltman family and the McDonald family, on both sides, on both of those lines, where the daughters and the sons were given the first or middle name of the parent, and it's all through the genealogy, actually. But she did not do that with Rita and Karen. They do not have her name at all. They don't have any member of the Waltman family name inside their first or middle name. She had told me that Uncle Bud had named them their first names, and like Karen's middle name, I believe Aunt Marie did name her middle name, but she did not give them their names, their first names and stuff like that. But they don't have like Vera, they don't have Marie. Obviously they wouldn't have Uncle Bud's name, which is Omer Clyde. And he's a junior. He's named after his father. Aunt Marie is named after Grandma. Vera was Grandma's first name, and Aunt Marie's first name is Vera. And when she adopted me on those papers, she had actually really thought about changing my name because she could have done that. And she had asked me, what do I think about her changing my name? And I'm like, cool. I never liked the name Teresa. And she said, why not? I said, I don't know. I said, I just don't like it. I said, I never liked it. Well, she always liked my name. She liked the name Teresa Marie. She said it had a nice ring to it. So she asked me, what do I think about the name Vera? Because my name was already Marie. My middle name was already Marie. So she thought about naming me Vera Marie Waltman the second, because she was the first, or, junior, whatever, but giving me that name and dropping Teresa. And she said, let me think about it for a while. So I was in my office working, practicing writing Vera Marie Waltman on a piece of paper, and I wrote it several times different ways and stuff like that. And so anyway, I had come out of my office into my apartment, because it was right there. And she asked me, what do you have in your hand there? I said, a piece of paper. I said, I was practicing my new name. And she laughed, and she goes, let me see. And she's looking at it, and how it says Vera Marie Waltman on it. And she took that paper. Anything that had to do with her, she took. And she said, I'm not quite sure yet. So when the papers were signed and all that kind of stuff, and she had the copy of it, she showed me the copies from the court. She kept all the copies. I never wanted a copy. I just figured, one, it would probably get lost or ruined somehow, and what if it got seen by somebody? What if they got into the wrong hands? I mean, what if Tony actually accidentally saw him or came across him and was to ask me about it? Well, thing with Tony, I think he would have kept it a secret, but then again, maybe it would have slipped, and she wasn't going to take that chance. But I never wanted a copy of it. I don't even have my marriage license or certificates, or even divorce decrees from both times we were married. I don't have any of it. The only thing I have to prove that I was ever married to Tony was pictures. Obviously my last name is Waltman, but I have no documented proof that I was ever married at all, or even divorced. And the second time we got married, there's no proof of that, because the pastor never registered it. Can't prove that either. Tony doesn't even have any proof. How it is that we were able to get divorced, I really don't even know. But we did get divorced twice. But on my papers, when she gave them to me to read, or let me read the ones that she had, rather, it says Teresa Vera Marie Waltman on it. And I was so happy, and I said, you gave me your name? And she said yes. She said that she decided to keep Teresa as my name, but she added Vera to my name. So there was this one time that she was mad at me for something, and I said, when she was extremely mad and I was in real hot water, meaning I was going to get a whipping, she would call me Teresa Marie Waltman. And that one particular time that she did that, and I told her, I said, you're missing a name. I said, you're going to call me by my full name. Call me by my complete full name. And she just looked at me, and she was already mad, and then she used a deeper tone of voice, and she said, Teresa Vera Marie Waltman, come here right now. I'm like, okay. Hobbled over to her, and I was just kind of smirking about it, and she had grabbed a hold of my hands, and she goes, I don't know what you think is so funny. Do you think she goes, do you see me laughing? No. I said, why? You know, I was just kind of, oh, she was just like so mad at me. But yeah, that's the only time I had said to her, you're missing a name. If you're going to call me by my full name, you know, you need to put the other word into it, the other name into it. But she only addressed me Teresa Vera Marie Waltman on a couple occasions. One time over the phone she did, when she was scolding me about something. It could have been the time that I attempted suicide, and I was just so upset and stuff like that, and I was yelling and screaming and begging her to come get me and stuff like that, and she was going to, but and she wanted me to, the other coating that I had up on the shelf there, to dump it. I refused to dump it, and she made me and called me by my full name and used the word Vera into it. So, but yeah, it was quite the experience all around. I think my life would have been so much different if I always saw her after Grandma's funeral week. I tried like hell to see her on so many different times. Just never worked out. And I'm going to do another one because that has to do with something else.